have very traditional beliefs, yet you have a way of expressing them at times, like a drunken sailor. And I love that about you. Thank you again for joining us today on Second Act TV. I'm so happy to welcome back Treva Brandon Scharf, the dating coach podcast host, and now the author of her debut book, Done Being Single. Treva, thank you so much for joining us again today.
Thank you for having me over and over again. I love it. I love you. I love being here. I love your audience. I can't say enough. Your viewers are the best.
Yes, they are. I'm just so proud of you. Congratulations. This book is so funny, so informative, so helpful, and so just raw. And there's a chapter that I want to sort of concentrate on, which really focuses on this dating world that we find ourselves in. Best dating practices, late bloomer style, and where I think the premise here, you question whether or not your, quote, archaic beliefs are still valid or not. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I kind of have this very unique position of being a boomer. Granted, I'm on the last year of boomer, and yet sort of still progressive in the way that I had to live my life as a single woman. So I didn't go along with the norms of my generation, where our generation, where you were supposed to get married by a certain time. Well, that flew out the window. There are things though about our generation that I really love, especially when it comes to romance and dating.
One of the first points here that I want to focus in on, because I think it's so pertinent, so relevant, is the whole concept of, you have it here, Matromania. The glorification of marriage. That's the ultimate success to a relationship. And I think especially for us who were perhaps raised with that, are now struggling with that. Are we failures? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, in my case, I did have Matromania, and it was the ultimate goal, and it was the pinnacle of, my romantic success, because it had eluded me for so long, right? So why wouldn't I be like, yes, I did it, okay? But for those who have been married and may not need to do it again, or especially who've had some difficult divorces, really maybe have soured on marriage again. I get that. I totally get that. And especially at a certain age, do you really need to get married? Do you need to make it official? Can't you just, live together, or just keep dating, or live together apart? There's that, LAT, live apart together.
Oh, I know it well.
Oh, hello. Right. Right. So yeah, so is marriage an outdated construct? Maybe it's getting to that point. I don't know.
How are we maneuvering in that? And I want to hear from our viewers what you think, because the whole thing, getting married, not getting married, sex before marriage, even at our age, that is the theme of many of the comments we get. So I find it, super interesting. The next point that you have in this chapter, again, something that comes up here all the time, is making the first move. That there's still that, should women make the first move or let the man be the man? Talk to me about it.
Okay. I am of that generation that feels that men should make the first move. I always abided by that. That's not to say I didn't help them along. So yes, it's a dance, and there are cues and signals and vibes. But ultimately, based on what I think I know about evolutionary psychology and the way men are wired, I think there is still an element of the chase that's important. I do believe that women need to be helpful in this process, and that it can't just be one-sided. As much as I think men, yes, should make the first move, I don't see anything wrong with a woman smiling first, or making eye contact first, or saying something, a compliment, or hello, good morning, Anything that's going to make it a little easier for a guy to step up.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm old fashioned, because I happen to love romance, old fashioned courtship. I am that kind of a woman. I mean, if I could drop a handkerchief, I would.
And I love this about your book, as well as now that I know you a lot better, is that, you have very traditional beliefs, yet you have a way of expressing them at times, like a drunken sailor. And I love that about you.
Well, yeah, because, why not? Let's just say it like it is. That's how I roll, if you didn't already know.
Well, and it's funny because, our viewers have called you out a couple times, either kiddingly or some seriously, that, why does Treva cuss? And I've always been of the opinion, especially being in a world where you deal with a lot of men, that, a well-timed F-bomb makes you very endearing or relatable all of a sudden. You've broken a barrier where the man, now, oh, I can talk to her. And I know that saying that will be controversial. And again, I can't wait to get the comments on it.
To that point you make about cursing, I once read that cursing, there's something psychological about it that makes people feel like you're telling the truth. That when you curse, the people who curse tend to tell the truth.
Yes.
And you know what? I do. And I don't hold back. But, my apologies to anybody that has been offended.
And I totally agree with you. That's not, you don't say it in every sentence, but yes, when that's interjected,
yes,
all of a sudden you become more relatable. My opinion, I know it's your opinion. Let's hear from you. This is going to be a controversial segment. I love it. Here's another another one. Having sex too soon. Your point, and the point of many of the people that I interviewed, experts in the field, whatever, that sex too early on sabotages a relationship still in this day and age.
I don't care how old you are. It applies at any age. And except maybe in one case, in one exception, if you just need to get laid, if you just need it, okay. And you're never going to see the person again, or maybe it's just a one-off. It's a one-nighter. We've talked about, this with the Friends with Benefits episode, but okay, sometimes you just need what you need. Okay, but don't be disappointed if it doesn't go further, or if it doesn't work out, or the feelings aren't shared.
Yeah, don't confuse having sex with the start or the development of a relationship. And yeah, I don't think that's changed in all these years. Again, give us your views on this, because
that's a hot topic, when to have sex, because it's always kind of controversial, and it's always up for debate. But I don't know, again, I just think there are certain things that are kind of evergreen and timeless like that. And again, I've made enough mistakes to know that yes, you can't lose by slowing down, taking your time, getting to know someone. It can only deepen it. It can only make it better. Mystery is good. I'm all for slowness. I think it's sexy.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And again, I look forward on comments on this one. This is great. Playing hard to get.
I'm in favor of being hard to get, not playing, being. And I'm not in favor of playing games. And I'm not in favor of making people guess, and I'm not in favor of making people, jump through hoops. So I just want to make that distinction. But I do, going back to how I sort of operate as an old school, traditional woman. Yeah, there's something not bad about kind of, does that mean you have to make yourself scarce and be manipulative? No. But to want someone to want you, and to make sure that they are pursuing you in a wonderful, healthy way is nice. Yeah. And that was what I'm trying to say. The pursuit, to me, again, is traditional.
Mhm.
And it's wonderful. And it's one of those things that I don't want to lose, because I think that with technology and dating apps, digital dating, we're losing that.
Yeah. I think the distinction is also not, this is worthy of a whole other segment, is the difference between chasing and pursuing, or attracting versus, chasing.
It's like not making yourself too available. And in the book, I talk about my mother, whom I talked about a lot. If you noticed, she used to say to me back in the landline days of rotary dial phones, when the phone would ring, she'd say, "Don't answer it on the first ring." So in these things get into your head, like don't leave the house without lipstick too. That's another thing that she told me never to do. But it's that mentality, don't answer on the first ring. You never want to look too easy. I guess that was my mother's whole point.
What's funny is that I still don't answer on the first ring when anybody calls. And even when Paul calls, it's like, well, I don't want him, to think I'm just sitting there by the phone. That
Right.
still is in my head.
In your head. Mine too.
Isn't that silly? I know it's crazy.
I
And
know.
now it's, and I think you mentioned that in the book, is how soon do you text back when somebody texts you and you're ready and you're there, you can answer, but it's like, no, I can't answer right away. There's become a certain etiquette or expectation around that as well, that maybe that carries some of the old-fashionedness into the technology.
Yes, which is at odds with technology. Let's just call it what it is. Tradition and technology, they are not friends. Right. Because one is like slow and well-paced, and the other one is right now, automatic, instant gratification. I got to hear back from that person right now, and you got to text me right back because I know you're looking at those texts, right? Not like in the old days where answering machines, you had to be home to check your messages, right? Yeah. I'm just going to say this. Dating is strategic. Let's just say it. Let's just admit it. There is strategy involved, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Here's another one that, big topic that especially is relevant today, is talking politics on the first date.
Yes. So yeah, back in our day, right? What was the old rule of the rule? No politics, religion, or sex. Don't talk about those, right? That's gone out the window too, because we don't live in that world anymore. It's just, it's every day is sex, politics, and religion. Somehow, we're surrounded by it. We're living in a culture war right now. So everything is political or politicized. So yeah, I think though on dating apps now, there's the option of indicating what your political preference is, which is good because it sort of gets it out of the way. And in advance, oh, this person is whatever, and maybe not lined up with me, but okay.
Well, I think your recommendation is to get it out of the way, because you don't want to start a relationship if you're totally on opposing sides. I think that's what I got with the way you wrote it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you might as well get it out of the way. Why would you even start to build a relationship when you're here? There's going to be enough conflict you're going to have to deal with. Why go there? And we both interviewed Dr. Jeannie Safer and Richard Brookhiser, who happens to be the senior editor of the National Review, and she is like as ultra left as you can get.
Right.
She wrote the book, I
love you, but I hate your politics.
And whoa, that kind of opened my eyes. And I'm going to link to that book because it opened my eyes that, you can have a marriage, a 40-year, which they have now, a 40-year marriage with very different views. So I don't know, since that the whole subject of politics is so prevalent now, you may want to open your eyes as to how important it really needs to be when it comes to romance. I guess is what I want to say. Let's do one more point here before we sign off here. Splitting the check on first dates or other gestures that go against the traditional way of dating, another big topic.
Yes. Well, okay. Bottom line, if you are, whoever asks out, whoever is the inviter should pay. I don't care if it's lunch. I don't care if it's same sex. That is just sort of common courtesy and etiquette, wouldn't you say? But, first of all, I don't ever remember on very rare occasions did I ever have a full dinner on a first date. If it's bad and you're now committed to a full meal, yikes. So yes, so start small, start with a coffee or a cocktail, okay? But if things go well, you know what, and you dig the person and there's some chemistry and obviously curiosity to go further, yes, let the guy pay. If maybe you feel like, no, I'm still on the fence and I'm not sure, let's split it. Let's please, no, let me, I'd like to split this with you. Yep. Because that also doesn't obligate you, to anything more than that, because you're sort of like, all right, I paid for me and I sort of made my feelings known.
Yeah. Well, and again, this comes up in comments all the time where, men, accuse or have had the experience of women just using them on dates. All women want is a free dinner or that it gets costly to do this, and absolutely it does. And that's why, like you said, a dinner on the first date, no, let's see if you even want to go on a second date. But right. I agree that especially if you like the man, and again, please leave your comments, and especially the guys, I think you're doing the man a favor by letting him pay, because now he's taking the lead. It's the role that we've grown up with. Is that still valid? Again, another point of contention or
we can have hours worth of conversation about feminism and what feminism has done to dating. And there are women that are truly outraged when a man holds a door open, pays for the dinner, walks on the outside on the sidewalk. I mean, little things that I love, that I think should never go away. They should never be, like I said, it should just be forever classic, dating behaviors. But no, this is why feminists get their knickers in a knot over these things, which I say. And yes, I just, for God's sakes, you don't have to. We know you can make a good living and you can pay your own way. You can buy your own home, and it's not like it was in the 50s, ladies. Okay, we know all that, and right on for that, and good for us, right? As single, as strong, independent women. I mean, you and I we are a voice for that. However, with that said, it is at odds with traditional dating. And I just think that what is the big deal? Just come on, let yourself be wooed, let yourself be courted, let yourself be romanced. Let a guy, if he wants to do it, do it.
I know, I don't get it either. I don't get it. I didn't realize, and we won't go off on a tangent here because that's another whole segment, but I've never equated being a feminist or a strong woman with having to dislike men. And that's what it's come to. That's why I know on this channel, it's really important to me to have both sides, because if we're truly dedicated to understanding relationships, understanding each other, there has to be two sides. We don't do just women programming or just male programming. We try to bring it together, and I hope that's appreciated.
I adore being with you, Silka. Your audience is so informed, they're so enlightened, they're so engaged, and I think you guys will all dig the book for that reason, because it goes into more about this kind of stuff that Silka and I talk about.
If you like Treva at all on this segment, you got to read this. So Treva, thank you. And we will see you on the next segment on Second Act TV.
Thank you.